Emily, careful with that ornament. I laughed, reaching out just in time to catch the glass star she almost dropped. She giggled, spinning around with tinsel tangled in her hair. It's sparkly, Daddy. Look. You've got glitter everywhere, I said, ruffling her hair. I hope Mom doesn't kill me for this mess. Vanessa, from across the living room, smiled faintly, holding a tray of cookies. It's fine, John. Just try not to break anything else, she said, her voice light, but her eyes flicked down at her phone too quickly for me not to notice. I brushed it off. Hey, I think you're judging my parenting skills. Emily twirled again. Daddy, can we put the star on top now? All right. Let's do it together. I lifted her onto a chair, careful not to wobble too much. Vanessa lingered by the kitchen counter, still scrolling. Vanessa, are you okay? I asked casually, trying to keep the tone easy. She looked up, startled. Yeah, just checking some messages. Nothing important. I said, unconvinced, but I smiled anyway. Well, this star's going on top. Make sure you don't tip me off the ladder, Emily. Emily squealed with delight as I placed the sparkling star on the tree. We did it, she shouted, arms wide. Vanessa clapped softly, smiling for a moment. Then she turned away, her phone suddenly lighting up again. The doorbell rang, and Emily ran to answer it. Grandma and Uncle Mark are here. Perfect timing, I said, shaking my head with a grin. Let's get some cookies ready. Vanessa followed Emily into the foyer. I noticed her slip her phone into her pocket as she hugged Mark. My chest tightened slightly, a feeling I tried to dismiss. You guys look great. Mark exclaimed. Wow, the tree looks amazing. Thanks. Emily helped, I said proudly. I see that sparkle in her eyes, Mark said, smiling at her. It's contagious. Emily bounced from person to person, showing off the ornaments. Look, Grandma. Look what I did. Vanessa laughed lightly, a soft sound, but I caught the way she avoided meeting my eyes when she passed by. She always did that lately. I stepped closer. Everything all right? Yeah, really. Don't worry, she said, her tone casual, but I noticed a flicker of hesitation. I forced a laugh. You've been on your phone a lot tonight. Is it work? She waved her hand dismissively. Just some holiday emails. Nothing serious. Okay, I trailed off. Something in her smile didn't feel real, but I swallowed the suspicion. Tonight was supposed to be happy. I wasn't going to ruin it. Emily tugged at my hand. Daddy, come see what I put in the cookie jar. I followed her to the kitchen, where she proudly placed a cookie shaped like a reindeer. You did this. I helped, she said with a grin. Mom helped too. Vanessa peeked from behind the counter. You're both amazing, she said softly. I wanted to believe her. I wanted to soak in the laughter, the warmth, the smells of cinnamon and chocolate. The tree twinkled, Emily's joy was infectious, and for a moment, everything felt perfect. But I couldn't shake the image of Vanessa slipping her phone away just a few minutes ago. A quiet knot formed in my chest. I shook my head. Maybe I'm just imagining things, I muttered, more to myself than anyone else. Daddy? Emily asked, tilting her head. Nothing, sweetheart, I said, ruffling her hair. Let's just enjoy Christmas. I smiled, trying to ignore the unease curling in my stomach. Everything looked perfect, and yet, something didn't feel right. Emily, can you hand me that plate? I asked, grabbing a towel to dry the dishes. Here, Daddy. Emily chirped, bouncing on her toes. Vanessa leaned against the counter, scrolling on her phone, thumb moving so fast I barely saw what she was doing. You're washing everything too fast, she said, a small smile on her lips. I just don't want to leave a pile in the sink, I replied casually. Her eyes flicked up for a moment, then back to the screen. Sure. I felt a tiny knot in my stomach. Vanessa, why do you keep putting your phone on silent? Is everything okay? She glanced at me, eyebrows slightly raised. Yeah, just some work stuff. Nothing important. I hesitated. Work stuff, at 10 at night. It can't wait, she said lightly, not meeting my eyes. I forced a laugh. Okay, if you say so. But inside, I was uneasy. Emily giggled. "Daddy, Vanessa is being secretive." I smiled at her, ruffling her hair. "Yeah, maybe she's hiding a Christmas surprise." Vanessa chuckled softly. "Don't listen to her, John. She's making things up." I wanted to brush it off. I wanted to believe in her. But my gut said otherwise. Later, I called Mark. "Hey, man. You got a minute?" "Always." "What's going on?" he said, voice warm but alert. I don't know," I admitted. "It's Vanessa. Something feels off. She's constantly on her phone, avoids my eyes, and her explanations don't add up." Mark was quiet for a moment. "You trust her, right?" "Of course," I said quickly. "I do. I don't know. Something feels wrong." Mark's tone shifted. "John, pay attention. You know I hate overreacting, but if your gut's telling you something, it's worth noticing. Watch her actions, not just words." "I don't want to be paranoid," I muttered. "I just want to trust her. I don't want to ruin the holiday mood." "You're not ruining anything by being observant," Mark said firmly. "Just don't ignore it. Trust yourself." I hung up and stared at Vanessa. She was arranging the cookie plates, humming softly. But every time her phone buzzed, her eyes darted to it, and she quickly hid it. I asked casually, "Do you want me to take a look at the sink, or are you done with the dishes?" "I'm fine," she said, a faint edge to her voice I hadn't heard before. I studied her as I dried a plate. "Vanessa, is there something you're not telling me?" Her hand paused mid-motion. "John, why would I hide anything from you?" I shrugged, trying to sound unconcerned. "I don't know, it just feels different tonight." She laughed lightly, brushing off the tension. "You're imagining things. Focus on the dishes." I shook my head, frustrated but not wanting to push too hard. "Yeah, maybe I am." Emily piped up. "Daddy, Vanessa is lying. I saw her hide her phone." Vanessa gave Emily a mock frown. "I wasn't hiding anything. You're making it sound worse than it is." I cleared my throat, forcing calm. "Emily, let's not exaggerate, okay?" But inside, I couldn't ignore it. Every little lie, every avoided glance, added weight to the unease growing in me. I wanted to trust her, to believe that our life together was real. But the seed of doubt had taken root. Later that night, as Emily slept, I stayed in the living room, staring at the tree. The lights twinkled, the ornaments glimmered, but I couldn't enjoy it. Vanessa came in, carrying a blanket. "You're awake," she said softly. "Yeah, just thinking," I admitted. "You're worrying too much," she said, placing the blanket over my shoulders. "Everything's fine. Trust me." I wanted to. I really did. But as she kissed my cheek and left, I felt a hollow pit in my stomach. Something was off. Something I couldn't yet name. I picked up my phone and called Mark again. "I think tonight. I really need your advice. I don't want to be paranoid, but..." Mark's voice was steady. "Then observe. Keep calm. Collect your thoughts. Don't jump, but don't ignore it either." I nodded to myself, even though he couldn't see me. "Yeah, I'll do that." I sank back into the couch, the soft glow of the Christmas lights doing nothing to ease the tension. Trusting Vanessa had always come naturally. Now, it was a battle. And for the first time, I wasn't sure if my instincts were lying or if I was about to discover something I didn't want to know. I was cleaning up the kitchen when my hand brushed against Vanessa's phone on the counter. "Vanessa?" I asked casually. She looked up, startled. Yeah. "I just saw your phone." I tried to keep my tone light, but something in me tightened. "Oh, it's fine. Just checking messages," she said, her smile too quick, too forced. I hesitated, then swiped to glance at the screen. My heart froze. A thread popped up, messages between Vanessa and a man named Lucas. "Vanessa, who's Lucas?" She froze, eyes widening. "John, it's nothing. I mean, just a friend from work." I read the messages anyway. Dinner plans late at night, secret meetings, sweet nothing she didn't bother to hide from me. My chest tightened. "Vanessa, these aren't work messages. They're just casual. I mean, she tried to reach for the phone, but I pulled back. Casual? Vanessa, he's asking when you're free for dinner, at 10 at night. With him. Alone. Her lips pressed together, and she avoided my gaze. John, please, it's not what you think. I swallowed hard. It doesn't look good. Not at all. Vanessa sighed, pacing. I didn't mean for you to see this. I didn't. It's complicated. Complicated. My voice rose, unsteady. We are married, Vanessa. I thought we trusted each other. I know, she said, her hand shaking. It's just, I don't know. I didn't want to hurt you. I stared at her, feeling a cold rage spread through me. Then why hide it? Why sneak around? She looked at me, tears welling in her eyes. I thought I could handle it. I didn't want to lose you or Emily. I laughed bitterly. Lose me? Vanessa, you've already destroyed trust. I can't just ignore this. She bit her lip. Please, John, don't confront me now. Give me a chance to explain. I shook my head. No. I need to know everything. I need proof. Vanessa looked shocked. Proof? You don't trust me at all. I don't know if I can, I admitted. Not after this. That night, I sat in the dark, phone in hand, heart pounding. I couldn't sleep. Finally, I decided to follow her. I needed answers, no matter what it took. Around 10, I saw her leave the house quietly, coat pulled tight around her. I followed at a distance, careful to stay hidden. My hands trembled on the steering wheel, my mind racing. Vanessa walked into a small restaurant downtown. And there he was, Lucas. Tall, confident, grinning as if the world belonged to him. He wrapped his arm around her casually, and she leaned in, laughing at something he said. My stomach dropped. Lucas, I muttered under my breath, watching them. They didn't see me. I gripped the steering wheel tighter. This can't be real. Not our Christmas, not everything I believed in. I remembered the warmth of Emily's laughter, the smell of cookies, the tree sparkling in the living room. And now it all felt like a lie. A cruel, twisted lie. I wanted to storm in, scream, demand answers. But I stayed in the shadows, heart aching, fury rising. I had to know more, had to be sure. I watched as they entered the restaurant together, hands brushing, smiles full of intimacy I had never shared with Vanessa. My mind screamed at me to act, but my rational side, Mark's voice in my head, urged patience. Gather evidence. Don't lose control. Minutes felt like hours. Every laugh she shared with Lucas felt like a dagger to my chest. My hands were shaking, my vision blurred, but I couldn't tear my eyes away. She's mine, I whispered to myself, anger curling like fire in my chest. Everything we built, she's thrown away. I sank back into the shadows, heart pounding, stomach twisted. I realized then that nothing would ever feel the same. The perfect Christmas I had cherished, the love I had believed in, gone. Replaced by secrets, lies, and betrayal. I knew I had a choice, confront her now and risk chaos, or wait, gather proof, and watch how far this went. My instinct screamed revenge, yet my love for Emily held me back from exploding. I whispered into the night, I'll find out everything, and then, we'll see who really loses. I stayed there for hours, heart racing, until they finally left the restaurant, hand in hand, laughing. I followed at a safe distance, mind reeling, stomach twisted in knots. Every step I took was heavy, weighted with disbelief. By the time I returned home, it was past midnight. Emily slept peacefully, unaware of the storm raging inside me. Vanessa slipped in shortly after, smiling faintly, still unaware I had seen everything. I sat in the dark, heart pounding, staring at the Christmas tree lights. The warmth they once brought me now felt cold. Everything I thought I knew was a lie. And the realization cut deeper than I ever imagined. I couldn't sleep. I kept staring at the photos on the wall. Our Christmas last year, Emily's birthday, the silly vacations Vanessa loved. Every memory twisted in my mind now, every laugh feeling hollow. Daddy! Emily's small voice broke through my haze. She padded into the living room, blanket around her shoulders. Hey, sweetheart, I said, forcing a smile. Why aren't you asleep? I had a bad dream, she admitted, climbing onto the couch next to me. Can you stay with me? Of course, I said, holding her close. Her warmth should have comforted me, but instead it made the ache in my chest sharper. Are you sad, Daddy? She asked softly. I swallowed hard. No, baby. Just thinking. Emily frowned. You're thinking about Mommy. I hesitated. Yeah, thinking about a lot of things. I traced her small hand with mine, hiding the storm inside me. But I promise, everything's going to be okay. She leaned against me. I hope so. After she went back to bed, I called Mark. My hands trembled as I waited for him to pick up. John, he said, voice concerned. Everything okay? I don't know, I admitted. It's Vanessa. I found out. She's been seeing someone else. Mark was silent for a beat. I see. And you've seen it? Yes. I followed her tonight. They were together, Mark. Laughing, holding hands. Everything I thought we had, it's a lie. You did what you had to do, he said firmly. But listen, don't confront her yet. Don't show what you know. You need a plan, not chaos. I can't stop thinking about it, I whispered. Every memory feels tainted. Every smile, every hug. Was it real? Mark's voice was steady. It was real, John. But not in the way you thought. Right now, you focus on yourself, on Emily. Don't let her chaos consume you yet. I feel like an idiot, I muttered. How did I not see it? How could I have been so blind? You weren't blind. You trusted her. That's not weakness, it's who you are, Mark said. But now you know. And now you have to be smart about it. I hung up and sank into the couch, staring at the Christmas lights. The warm glow didn't reach me. I felt hollow, angry, betrayed, and exhausted all at once. The next morning, I tried to act normal, but Vanessa's cheerful hums grated on me. I smiled at Emily, helped her with breakfast, hid my rage behind jokes and small talk. Daddy, can we bake cookies later? She asked, hopeful. Sure, baby, I said, forcing a laugh. We'll make the best cookies ever. Vanessa passed by, offering me a smile. Good morning, John. Ready for a busy day? Yeah, ready, I replied, my voice steady, though my insides churned. I caught the way she glanced at her phone and quickly hid it again. That little habit was a dagger. Later, I found a quiet moment alone. I muttered under my breath, how could you do this, Vanessa? How could you betray me and our family? I paced the living room, hands in my hair. The anger and sadness battled inside me. I trusted you. I loved you. And you lied to me. All this time. Mark called again in the afternoon. You okay? I'm surviving, I said, voice tight. I can't confront her yet. I don't want to scare Emily. But every second, it's like fire in my chest. Good, Mark said. Hold it in. Be the calm, John. Collect your thoughts. Watch her. Don't act rashly. This isn't just about anger, it's about being smart. About getting justice the right way. I want to scream, I admitted. I want her to feel what I feel. You will, in your own way, he said. But patience, John. Control is power right now. Don't lose that. I ended the call and sat silently, staring at the wall. Photos of happier times stared back at me. I wanted to rip them down, but I couldn't. They were reminders of everything I lost, everything I loved, and everything that was now tainted. That night, Emily came in again, tugging at my sleeve. Daddy, can you read me a story? Of course, I said, holding her close. Once upon a time, I began, but my mind wandered to Vanessa and Lucas. I forced myself back into the story, hiding my pain behind each word. I had to protect Emily, even while my world crumbled around me. I whispered to myself after she fell asleep, I won't let her break us completely. I'll survive. I'll be stronger. And someday, she'll pay for this. I sat in the dark, staring at the faint glow of the Christmas tree, feeling the mix of heartbreak and determination settling inside me. This was only the beginning. Vanessa, can you help me with these dishes? I asked, trying to sound casual, though my chest felt tight. She glanced up from her phone, giving me that practice smile. Sure, John. What's wrong? Nothing, I said, though the lie felt heavy. Just trying to clean up before Emily wakes up. She leaned on the counter, her eyes flicking to my hands. You're stressing too much over a few dishes. I guess, I admitted. But you've been distracted lately. On your phone all the time. Avoiding me. Her lips curved slightly. Distracted. I've just had a lot on my mind with the holidays. You know how it is. I studied her, watching the way she moved, how her voice wavered just slightly. Is that really it? She tilted her head, smiling softly. Of course it is. Are you doubting me, John? I clenched my jaw. I don't know. Maybe I am. I just feel like something's off. Vanessa shook her head, sighing. You worry too much. I promise, nothing's wrong. Can't you just trust me? I wanted to. I really did. But the thread of doubt wouldn't let go. I want to trust you, I said quietly, but I can't ignore the little things, the late nights, the secretive messages, the way you hide your phone. She laughed softly, a sound meant to soothe me. You're imagining things again. Seriously, John. Look at us. We are here. We are together. Isn't that enough? It should be, I said, though my throat was tight. But it doesn't feel like it. Her eyes softened, and she took a step closer. Do you really want to fight me tonight, John? Over what? A misunderstanding. I shook my head. I don't want to fight. I want honesty. Honesty, she echoed, eyebrows raised. John, I am being honest. I'm just busy. Life isn't always perfect, you know. I get that, I said, swallowing the lump in my throat. But there's more, isn't there? Something you're not telling me. She tilted her head, her smile infuriatingly calm. You're being dramatic. Just relax, John. We'll enjoy the holiday. Please, don't let your imagination ruin this. I clenched the dish towel in my hands. I'm not imagining. I've seen enough. I just need to understand why. She reached out, touching my arm gently. John, you're overthinking. Can't you see? You're letting paranoia get the best of you. Look at Emily. Do you want her to feel tension at Christmas? Her words struck a nerve. I wanted to shout, to demand the truth, but a part of me hesitated. Could I really risk destroying the night for Emily? I don't know what to do, I admitted, voice low. Vanessa's smile was patient, almost triumphant. Then let's drop it. Trust me, John. Please. I stepped back, my mind racing. Her deflection, her manipulation, it was subtle, but I saw through it. You think I'm blind, I said quietly. Not blind, she said softly. Just choosing to trust me. I stared at her, the weight of betrayal pressing down. She underestimated me. Thought I wouldn't notice, wouldn't question, wouldn't follow the trail. But I had. I couldn't confront her fully, not yet. The evidence I needed, the certainty, wasn't complete. You're walking a fine line, Vanessa, I said, tone low, measured. I'll wait, but I'm not blind. Not anymore. Her smile faltered for a fraction of a second, almost imperceptible. John. I'll see everything eventually, I continued, voice steadier than I felt. And then, we'll see who's really been honest. She said nothing, only looked at me, eyes wide, a flicker of something, fear, surprise, hidden behind her calm. I picked up a dish, rinsing it slowly. My hands were steady, but my mind was racing. Every small lie, every deflection, every carefully crafted excuse she used tonight told me one thing. She thought she could manipulate me. I wasn't going to let her. As I dried the last plate, I whispered under my breath, I'll dig deeper. I'll find out everything. And when I do, she'll regret underestimating me. The room was quiet except for the soft hum of the heater and the distant jingling of Christmas lights. Vanessa busied herself with the counter, unaware I had already made my decision. I would wait. I would observe. I would gather proof. Confrontation would come later, on my terms. And when it did, nothing she did would save her. I whispered into the dark living room, I need proof, real proof. Mark's voice came through the phone. Patience, John. Don't let anger blind you. Document everything, step by step. I'm already following her tonight, I muttered. She left the house around 10, like last time. Good. Stay hidden. Don't make a scene. And don't forget Emily, her safety comes first. I know, I said, gripping the steering wheel. But I need to see everything. I need to know how deep this goes. I followed Vanessa to the same downtown restaurant. Lucas was waiting, leaning casually against the wall, a confident smirk on his face. Vanessa walked up, laughing lightly. I kept my distance, camera ready, snapping a few discreet photos. She's good at hiding it, I muttered under my breath. But not from me. Mark's voice echoed in my head. Observe, don't act rashly. After the restaurant, I followed them to a small park. They sat on a bench, close, talking in low tones. Vanessa laughed at something Lucas said, her head resting near his shoulder. She's really playing with me, I whispered. Every smile, every little touch, it's calculated. I dialed Mark again. It's worse than I thought. I can see the way she manipulates him, and me. Mark's tone was steady. Good observation. Keep notes. Pictures, times, dates, everything. We need a pattern, John. Don't let her slip away. Back home, I kept up a façade for Emily. Daddy, can we bake cookies? She asked, eyes bright. Of course, baby, I said, forcing cheer into my voice. We'll make the best cookies ever. Vanessa passed by, humming, phone hidden in her pocket. I caught a glimpse of her smirk and realized how cleverly she covered her tracks. Later, I met Sophie Clark at a coffee shop downtown. She was Vanessa's friend, seemingly harmless, but I knew she had connections to the affair. I just wanted to understand, I said cautiously. You know anything about Vanessa's late nights? Sophie blinked. Late nights? Well, sometimes she meets people. I mean, friends, work stuff. Friends. I pressed, narrowing my eyes. You don't mean Lucas, do you? She hesitated. I mean, I don't know. I try not to ask questions. She says it's personal. Personal? I scoffed quietly. You're part of this, even if you don't realize it. Sophie looked guilty. I didn't want to hurt anyone. I just thought she needed someone to talk to. I leaned in. Then help me understand. Anything you know, names, places, patterns. I need to document this. For Emily's sake. She nodded reluctantly. Okay, she meets him mostly after 10, downtown, sometimes restaurants, sometimes the park. That's all I know. I shouldn't be telling you this. You're doing the right thing, I said. Trust me. Back home, I compiled everything. Photos, Sophie's notes, timestamps from phone pings I could see from Vanessa's careless moments. The evidence was building, piece by piece. Vanessa entered the kitchen, smiling faintly. Busy tonight? She asked casually. I forced a smile. Yeah, just trying to catch up. Emily wanted cookies, remember? Her eyes flicked toward my phone, almost like she knew what I'd been doing. You've been on that thing all night, she said lightly. I'm just checking some emails, I replied evenly. Nothing serious. She nodded, walking past, but I caught the faint tension in her step. I realized she was testing me, seeing if I suspected anything. Every smile, every casual remark, it was all manipulation. I muttered to myself, not for long, Vanessa. I see through you now. Every move, every lie, I'm keeping track. Mark called one last time before I went to bed. You're doing well. Keep it up, but don't overextend yourself. Patience, John. Let her unravel herself. I will, I whispered, staring at the Christmas tree lights reflecting on the window. I'll wait. I'll gather everything. And when the time comes. Emily's soft breathing from her room reminded me why I was doing this. I had to stay calm, strategic, and strong. Vanessa thought she had control, but she underestimated me. I turned off the lights, careful not to wake anyone, and whispered into the silence. I'm watching. Every detail. And soon, justice will come. I watched from the shadows, phone in hand, as Vanessa's world started to unravel. It was subtle at first. Lucas missing their secret dinner, texts left unanswered, little cracks forming in their perfect little façade. "John, are you spying on us again?" Mark's voice came softly through the call. "I'm observing," I corrected, keeping my tone steady. "Patience, Mark. Just watching. Karma has a way of working itself out." "You sure you want to wait this long?" he asked. "Yes. She'll slip." "They always do," I said, my voice quiet but confident. I had started planting subtle hints, nothing overt, just little things to make Vanessa's lies more visible. A message here, a carefully timed photo there. Sophie had been discreetly useful, feeding me details Vanessa thought she could hide. "She doesn't suspect a thing," Sophie whispered over coffee. "She's charming everyone else while you're watching." "Exactly," I said. "And that charm is about to fail. Little by little." That night, Vanessa was distracted at dinner. Her laughter sounded forced, her smile slightly too bright. Lucas had texted her during the meal, and she flinched, almost dropping her wine glass. "Everything okay?" I asked casually, studying her. "Fine," she said too quickly. "Just tired, I guess." Emily chatted happily, oblivious to the tension. I forced a smile, keeping the conversation light. "Daddy, can we decorate the living room after dessert?" "Of course, baby," I said, hiding the surge of satisfaction as I noticed Vanessa's subtle panic. Every glance she cast at her phone betrayed her. Later, I sent a subtle message from an anonymous account to Lucas, hinting that Vanessa's behavior had been noticed. Within hours, he was flustered, demanding answers from her. "What did you do?" Vanessa whispered sharply, her eyes wide with fear. "Nothing," I said innocently. "Just making sure you're paying attention to everything around you." Her hands trembled slightly. "John, I don't know what you mean." I tilted my head, giving her a calm look. "Sure you do." The next day, at Vanessa's friend group brunch, I let slip an offhand comment. Funny how little secrets can get noticed, even if you think no one is paying attention. Sophie stifled a laugh. Vanessa's face paled, scanning the room. "John," she said quietly, trying to regain control. "You should be careful with stories you tell," I said softly. "They tend to travel further than you imagine." Lucas called later, frantic. "Vanessa, you have to fix this. Did he see something?" I don't know," she hissed, pacing. "He's everywhere. I can't." "You'll figure it out," I said, calm, my own pulse steady. "Or maybe, karma will handle it." She froze at the word, a flash of recognition crossing her face. She finally understood that the balance of control had shifted. Mark called just before I confronted her further. "Everything's going perfectly. Don't overplay your hand, John. Let her unravel herself." "I know," I said, sipping my coffee. "It's satisfying watching her crack. But I have to stay calm. Public composure is everything right now." At home, Vanessa's smile faltered. She tried to act normal, making small talk, but every joke, every casual remark felt brittle. I stayed composed, answering her questions lightly, hiding the knowledge I had gathered. "John, do you feel like something's off?" she asked one evening, eyes darting. "I feel fine," I said with a measured smile. "Why?" "Just, sometimes I think people notice things," she said quietly, voice trembling slightly. "Yes," I said softly, letting the word hang in the air. "They do. You should be careful what you leave behind." Her composure cracked completely when Sophie innocently asked, "Vanessa, did you forget to reply to Lucas last night? I saw a message on your phone." Vanessa's face went pale, and she stammered. It's nothing, Sophie. Really." I watched in silence, sipping my tea, heart pounding, not with fear, but vindication. Her web of lies was collapsing, and she had no idea I had been orchestrating the subtle exposures. Later, as Lucas's frustration grew, he snapped during a phone call with Vanessa. "You promised. You said it would stay quiet." "I'm trying." Vanessa cried. "Stop yelling." I heard her muttering from the living room, but I stayed calm. This was the balance of power shifting. Every lie, every betrayal, every manipulation was backfiring. I whispered under my breath, This is what happens when you underestimate someone you think you control. Your charm only lasts so long. Emily slept peacefully in her room, unaware of the storm. I smiled faintly, reminded why I had to stay patient, why I couldn't confront too soon. For her, for me, for justice. By the time the night ended, Vanessa's charm had cracked, Lucas's confidence was faltering, and the consequences of their actions were spreading quietly but effectively. I remained outwardly calm, but inside, the satisfaction was sharp, a promise of reckoning yet to come. I looked at the Christmas tree, its lights reflecting on the walls, and whispered, "Karma has begun. And soon, everyone will see the truth." I watched from the couch, coffee in hand, as Vanessa's carefully constructed world started to crumble. Every lie she had spun, every secret she had kept, was unraveling before her eyes. "Vanessa, we need to talk," Sophie said firmly, standing in the living room. Her voice was calm but unyielding. Vanessa flinched. "Sophie, No excuses," Sophie interrupted. "I saw messages, the late nights. You lied to everyone you said you cared about. Friends, family, John, Emily." I didn't mean to hurt anyone," Vanessa stammered, hands twisting in her lap. "Didn't mean to." Sophie's voice rose, sharp and accusing. "You cheated. You lied. And you think words fix that?" I sat back, arms crossed, watching her squirm. Her charm had evaporated, leaving only fear and regret. Lucas stormed in, phone in hand. "Vanessa, what the hell were you thinking? You promised me this would stay quiet." Lucas, she tried to explain, but her words were weak, collapsing under his anger. "You lied to me," he snapped. "I trusted you, and you dragged me into your mess with John. Do you realize what you've done?" Her shoulders sagged, finally breaking under the weight of her deception. I'm sorry, Lucas. I didn't think." "You didn't think," he barked. "You didn't think about anyone but yourself. Not John, not Emily, not me. You lied. You betrayed everyone." I felt a quiet satisfaction settle in my chest. I stayed silent, letting them confront her while I remained composed. Every word she uttered, every glance she cast, revealed the truth I had been watching her hide. Emily wandered into the room, clutching her blanket. "Daddy, why is Mommy upset?" I put down my coffee and crouched to her level. "She made a mistake, baby. But we'll be okay. Don't worry." Vanessa glanced at Emily, eyes filled with guilt. For the first time, I saw her realize the consequences of her betrayal weren't just abstract. They were real, immediate, and painful. I didn't mean for it to get this far," she whispered, voice shaking. "Meaning doesn't undo actions," Sophie said sharply. "You can apologize all you want, but the truth doesn't vanish because you feel bad." Lucas nodded, still furious. "You've burned every bridge you had. I don't even know why I stayed involved with you." Vanessa's lips quivered, tears threatening. I loved him. I thought." "No," I said, voice calm, firm. "You didn't think about anyone but yourself. Love doesn't justify lies. Actions do." Her eyes widened, meeting mine for the first time, fully aware of my knowledge, my patience, my strategy. I saw the flicker of fear and realization. I didn't gloat. I didn't need to. She already understood. Sophie added, "You manipulated, you hid things, you lied to people who trusted you. And now, you face the consequences. No one can fix this but yourself, and even then, it won't erase what happened." Vanessa sank into the couch, head in her hands. I ruined everything." "Yes," I said softly. "Everything you touched with deception has consequences. That includes me, Emily, your friends, even Lucas. You underestimated what trust means." Lucas shook his head, storming out. "I'm done. I can't be part of this anymore." Vanessa's tears fell freely now, but there was no charm to soften them. Every apology sounded hollow, every plea meaningless. I felt an unusual calm, a quiet vindication that came not from malice, but from seeing truth and justice unfold naturally. Emily tugged at my sleeve. "Daddy, is Mommy okay?" I knelt beside her. "She's learning a hard lesson, sweetheart. But we're okay. Don't worry. We are safe, and we'll get through this. Vanessa's voice broke as she whispered, John. I held up my hand gently. Not now. Not yet. You need to understand the full weight of your actions before anything else. I won't punish you further, but you need to see what betrayal costs. She nodded, tears streaking her face, realizing she had no defense, no charm, no escape. Her world had narrowed to the truth she had tried so hard to hide. Sophie and Lucas left, and I stayed on the couch, Emily curled in my lap. I looked at Vanessa, whose posture spoke defeat. No more smiles, no more excuses. Only the consequences of her own choices. I whispered under my breath, this is the reckoning you never expected. You built a web of lies, and now you're trapped in it. Not by me, but by your own actions. Vanessa looked up, eyes red, but the fight was gone. She finally realized that her betrayal had cost her trust, relationships, and respect. Emily yawned, snuggling closer. Daddy, can we read a story now? Of course, baby, I said, smiling faintly, the weight of victory tempered by love for my daughter. Let's start a new chapter. And in that moment, I felt it, justice, calm, and clarity. Vanessa's downfall was complete, but life went on. We survived, stronger and wiser, and for the first time since discovering her betrayal, I felt a measure of peace. Daddy, can we go to the park today? Emily asked, tugging at my sleeve, her eyes shining. Of course, baby, I said, smiling genuinely for the first time in weeks. Let's grab your coat. As we walked outside, the cold air stung, but I felt lighter than I had in months. Mark had stopped by earlier to check on us, offering advice and reminding me that rebuilding life wasn't a race. It was steady, deliberate steps. You've done well, John, he said over coffee. You kept your composure, protected Emily, and didn't let anger dictate your actions. I had to, I admitted. For her. And, for myself, I guess. It's just hard sometimes. Memories, pain, it creeps in. I know, Mark said gently. But you survived. You learned who you are, what you can endure. That's more powerful than revenge ever could be. Emily ran ahead, laughing as she kicked the leaves. I watched her, feeling both heartache and joy. She was my anchor, my reason to keep moving forward. Later, as we walk home, Emily asked, Daddy, will Mommy come back? I paused, considering my words carefully. No, baby. She made choices that hurt people we love. But we're okay. We have each other, and that's what matters. She nodded, seeming to understand more than her age should allow. I like it when it's just us, she said softly. I squeezed her hand. Me too, baby. Me too. At home, I started organizing our lives, sorting documents, preparing for school, even planning small trips. Vanessa's betrayal had taught me something important. Control over my own life mattered more than I had realized. Mark stopped by again one afternoon. How's it feeling? He asked, leaning against the doorframe. Better, I said slowly. It still stings, some days more than others. But I'm learning to focus on the future, not the past. That's the key, Mark said. You can't change what happened, but you can choose how you live from now on. We shared a quiet moment, sipping tea, Emily playing in the background. The peace was fragile but real. I realized that healing didn't mean forgetting. It meant taking the pain and letting it shape you into someone stronger. Emily came over, holding a small drawing. Look, Daddy. It's us at the park. I took it, smiling. It's beautiful, baby. Just like today. Her laughter filled the room, and I felt a weight lift. The betrayal, the heartbreak, the lies, they no longer controlled me. I had survived, and now I had the chance to rebuild a life defined by love, not deceit. Mark placed a hand on my shoulder. You're doing more than surviving, John. You're thriving. And Emily. She's lucky to have you. I nodded, letting a small smile cross my face. Thanks, Mark. I couldn't have done it without you. But it's time I keep moving forward, for both of us. That night, as I tucked Emily into bed, she whispered, I'm glad it's just us now, Daddy. Me too, sweetheart, I said, brushing her hair back. Me too. I turned off the light, looking out the window at the faint glow of the city. The past still whispered sometimes, but the pain was no longer sharp. It had softened, leaving lessons and strength. I took a deep breath. We'll be okay, Emily. We'll be happy. And nothing can take that away. For the first time in what felt like forever, I truly believed it. Daddy, can we put the star on top today? Emily asked, holding the small golden star in both hands, her cheeks flushed with excitement. Of course, baby, I said, smiling as I took her tiny hands in mine. Let's make it the perfect finishing touch. Our tree was modest, a far cry from the extravagant decorations of last year. No perfectly wrapped presents stacked high, no glittering displays. Just lights, ornaments, and the warmth of honesty in our home. Mark came by with a small box of cookies. Looks like someone's been busy, he said, eyeing Emily. I helped a little, she said proudly. But Daddy did most of it. I laughed, ruffling her hair. I did I? I think you're just being modest. Mark smiled, glancing around the room. This feels real, John. Not perfect, but real. And that's what matters. I nodded, feeling a sense of calm I hadn't experienced in over a year. The weight of betrayal had lifted, replaced by peace and resilience. A soft knock came at the door. Vanessa's name flashed in my mind. I'll get it, I said cautiously. She stepped inside, tentative, almost shy. John, I know it's been a long year. I wanted to see Emily. And you. I looked at her, calm and composed. Vanessa, it's Christmas. Emily is with me. But I think it's best if we keep this simple. I've moved forward, and she has too. Your presence, it isn't necessary. Her lips trembled slightly. I wanted to apologize. To say I'm sorry for everything. I heard your apologies last year, I said quietly. The difference now is, I've learned. I don't need them. What's done is done. Emily and I are moving forward. Vanessa's eyes filled with tears, but I didn't flinch. I had no anger left, only clarity. Thank you for understanding, she whispered. I hope you're happy. I am, I said firmly. Happier than I could have imagined. For both our sakes, it's time to let the past stay in the past. She nodded, the weight of her own choices evident in her posture. I understand, she said softly. Merry Christmas, John. And Emily. Emily waved shyly, smiling innocently. Merry Christmas, Mommy. Vanessa gave a small nod, then turned and left. I closed the door, exhaling slowly, a quiet sense of closure washing over me. Mark clapped a hand on my shoulder. You handled that perfectly, John. Peaceful, strong, and fair. I had to, I said, returning to Emily. For her. For me. For the life we are building. Emily tugged at my sleeve again. Daddy, can we bake cookies now? Absolutely, I said, feeling the warmth of the kitchen, the joy of simple traditions. Let's make this Christmas ours. As we mixed flour and sugar, laughter filling the room, I reflected on the past year. Betrayal had hurt, yes, but it had also taught me resilience, patience, and the importance of self-worth. I had learned to survive without letting anger or revenge control me. Mark leaned against the counter, watching us. You've changed, John. Stronger, calmer, wiser. Emily's lucky to have you. I smiled, brushing a stray strand of hair from Emily's face. I'm lucky to have her. And lucky to have friends like you, Mark. You reminded me who I am when I almost lost myself. Emily held up a cookie, triumphant. Look, Daddy. It's perfect. It's perfect, I agreed, taking a bite. Just like this moment. Later, as the evening wound down, I tucked Emily into bed. Good night, baby. Merry Christmas. Good night, Daddy, she whispered. I love you. I love you too, Emily, I said softly, brushing her hair back. Alone, I sat by the window, gazing at the faint glow of Christmas lights outside. The past had its shadows, but they no longer held power over me. Justice had been served, but peace came from within, from the ability to forgive myself, to embrace resilience, and to treasure the honest love in my life. I whispered quietly to the night, we are free now.